All right. Hello, friends. Welcome back to episode 2 in our series about marriage, Till Death Do Us Part. If you listened to the first episode where we talked a little bit about marriage as a covenant versus a contract, and now we're going to get into everybody's favorite component of a healthy marriage, communication. We are affectionately calling this episode, What You Talking About? And with me today,
what a
this
good
is Spencer.
show. Sorry.
Yeah.
What you talking about,
I
Willis?
can't stop it at that. Like it always, there has to be Willis at the end.
Every time.
Right.
We've got a lot of great guys here to kind of chat through this and share their experiences, so I'll let them quickly introduce themselves. To my left, I've got
Cody's here.
Mike.
And Cole's here.
Hey guys, it's Billy.
excited to have these guys. So we're going to start off with a little bit of trivia, gentlemen, as we're talking about communication. When it comes to effective communication, what percentage is connected to body language? What percentage is connected to voice and tone? And what percentage is connected to spoken word? Listener, I want you to be thinking of it too. What percentage do you think?
Definitely not evenly distributed.
Let's start with body language. What would you give that one?
North of 50.
So there's a pie.
Yep.
We got a pie chart.
got a pie.
Okay.
I see it. I see it.
Voice is like 10%.
Okay.
Oh, I think it's voices and tone are like the highest for me
Okay.
that I'm thinking.
I'm going to go, I don't know, 75 body language.
75 body language?
I'm going to go 55 body language.
You nailed it. 55% body language. What percentage voice and tone?
Oh, voice and tone is 1.
Yeah. I had it. I had it as separate too.
30%.
I did too. I separated.
Yeah.
Voice and tone.
30.
30.
Mike and I say 30.
Okay.
30,
Locked in.
25.
36, Bob.
Okay. Am I not allowed
Don't
to
ask
go
me the
over?
last one.
Do I get disqualified?
So body language is 55, voice and tone is 38, and our actual words we use is 7. And this is a study that's been replicated like 3 different times. And every time it comes out with the biggest impact on communication is our body language.
So what's the definition of body language? Like
Body language is your nonverbals. Like if you've got your hands crossed while you're talking to your wife, and you're like, it's great to see you, but your hands are crossed.
So like how you
head
would
down.
be sitting if that was your wife over there. So right now, Mike is like caddy-ish corner, kind of like he's not directly across from Spencer, but he's turned towards me and not towards Spencer.
Not good.
That would
body language.
show that you are not interested.
You're closed off.
Yeah.
So it's everything that your body's saying.
That
your
facial
tone, words
expression that you don't like it. You're like, shut up.
The eye rolling has got to go.
Just go ask your wife how your body language is.
Yeah.
You can go from there. She's like, cool. Do I remember those notes you couldn't find earlier? She's like, she probably has the notes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, it's every single rom-com that you've ever seen where it's like, I just don't believe that you're sorry. I just don't feel that you're sorry because it's all about their voice and tone. So I say that to just highlight the fact that there's a lot that goes into this. And so often, especially in a lot of the work that I do, I find most of us are so focused on, if we're talking about a conversation with our wife or if it's a leader at work, we obsess over that 7%. The spoken word, the words we're actually going to use, and we completely neglect the 93% that can get us in the most trouble. And so we're going to talk a lot about today, but just wanted to highlight that because I think that's always something that's pretty interesting when I get to share that at work, and it's pretty
Are you
interesting.
trying to cause fights this episode?
It could. We might rip open some wounds.
Call them intentional discussions instead.
Yeah. So we're going to be grounded in 3 primary scriptures today, and we'll call in a couple. But the first is from James 1:19, one of my favorites, which is be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry.
So easy.
If only, yeah. Proverbs 18:21, the tongue has the power of life and death. And
So
Ephesians,
true.
yeah, right?
So true.
Ephesians 4:29-32, do not let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouths.
hey,
think of a
why are
couple
you
times.
folding your hands?
What you talking
Are you
about?
like-
That's because I'm nervous. Because this is an episode that's going to make me nervous. But I think there's tons of research out there, and there's all these things about, hey, this is the number 1 cause of divorce in America. But if you look at it, the root of most of these issues is it's not necessarily the issue in itself. Finances aren't bad themselves. It's what's happening around the communication of those. You look at finances, you look at all these things, and they center around the fact that conversations are the workhorse of any relationship. And so, but there's always things that make it difficult for us. And one of the things that I always find for men is that when it comes to like these we'll call them softer or emotional conversations, they can be tough. And so I just want to open it up with a nice, easy softball conversation for us today after our trivia, which is what have been some of the emotions that are most difficult for you to express in your marriages and why? Nice, easy one.
Thanks, Spencer.
Most difficult.
Telling your wife that she's wrong.
Which could be connected to that emotion of frustration.
Disagreeing with certain behaviors
Yeah.
and not doing it in the moment rather than being able to hold off and do it later, which is the preferred method, but I'm so bad at it.
Yeah. So some of that feedback conversations that we delay sometimes and just hope to use other methods other than that conversation.
I think for me, it's definitely anger.
Yeah.
And I think it's because of what I grew up around. There's a lot of anger expressed.
And so
that's something that I don't want to ever let out.
Yeah.
Is what was modeled to me.
So I'm not the only one with the Hulk in me?
No, you're not.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Makes me feel better now.
Yeah.
But is there a healthy anger?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think
think
we'll
so.
talk about that. I mean, because there's a lot of biblical, right, references there and connections to that and we'll get to that, I think, is just the importance of knowing what is channeled versus unbridled anger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the reality is there are things that should make us angry as fathers and men. Like, you do something to my children, I'm about to be mad.
Yeah.
But how I approach that situation is much
It's
different.
always that reaction.
Yeah.
The way you react with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Mine
can be
is-
quickly judged as being angry and when you're not angry as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because of your tone.
Tone in your
and your
I
body
mean,
language.
it's unintentional.
Yeah. Yeah.
What you talking about? I ain't mad.
Yeah, I don't know. So the one text message that can instantly signal that I am in trouble or that there's something that has to happen is the single K response.
Oh yeah.
It's just a K. Oh, I'd be like K question mark, and then I'll get a
Like,
quick
how can
KK.
there be body language in a letter?
Right? I know.
There is.
There is absolutely body.
Or the ...
Yeah.
Or you get an email from somebody who's like older and they don't know how to type and it's all caps.
All caps. I
Crap,
know.
what did I do?
I love this. There's this quote from Gary Chapman, who wrote the 5 Love Languages, and he says, we cannot rely solely on intentions alone. Love has to be communicated clearly and consistently in the language our spouse best understands. And this is where I see so many people get in trouble: is that intent versus impact. Well, that's not how I meant it. I'm like, well, that's how it landed. So I think that's one of those things. So when you think about that. Our spouse, a language our spouse best understands. When's the last time you felt like your wife truly heard you?
You're really trying to pick some fights tonight. Golly.
So
Go ahead. You're good. Go. You can answer first.
So we did this the five love language deal with the church. Man, that had to have been back in like 2013, 14, like early on. But the Primal Question book that we read within the last, when did we do that with the church? Last 5 years, probably?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was probably within the last 3 years. Opened my eyes more of how I should respond to my wife. And Cody over here actually helped me realize that I was not answering her primal question in my responses. I was answering my own.
Yeah.
So instead of that's the first time I felt like I was heard, is when I said, I'm sorry that I haven't been answering your primal question for you.
Yeah.
I'm going to do better at that.
Yeah.
Is when it was much better received.
We might have to do an episode about primal questions.
Come on.
Come on.
Any others?
I suck at this. I'll be honest. Like, I'm a fixer. Like, just tell me what your problem is, and like, let's get over it and move on.
And that was me prior to talking to Cody.
Like,
honestly.
I'm so bad at that. And
Yeah.
so, honestly, my thing that I'm working on now is just like questions back, finding ways just to more questions about.
Yeah.
Hey, why does that bother you? What's going on?
Deep probing.
Yeah. Just keep asking questions.
Yeah.
And then hold myself back from giving advice. Well, you should.
Taming the advice monster.
How does the probing go though? Is that well received? Does
Usually
she
it
know
is.
that there's good intention behind it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually, it's worked better for me because usually in the past it was, all right, so here's what you got to do.
Have you tried drinking water?
Yeah. Like, come on.
So over the past couple of years, we have learned, my wife and I both have started to learn, before we say something, we tell what we're about to say, what
Yeah.
the intention is. Like she would say something to me and I have a response. I would say, hey, I'm just telling you, I'm not mad, but I'm just responding to what you just said.
Yeah.
Like it's almost like setting her an expectations. Hey, I'm going to give you my feedback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to argue with you.
Yeah.
Now the Hulk in me, will slowly rise, but then I'm kind of like Billy. I have to tame myself down and says, you know what? That's not what we're doing.
Yeah.
We're just talking,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it helps.
I've
It helps.
Me and Cole just want to talk at the same time.
I've actually gotten a little bit better at that myself, with just saying, because I used to just spit it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just diarrhea out of my mouth. Or vomit, I should say. But now I'm like, please just know this is coming from a good place.
Yeah.
But I don't know exactly how to put it into words, but I need to tell you how I feel now.
Does that land pretty well?
Yeah, it lands better than the prior approach,
Yeah.
for sure.
Get a little further down the road with that conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
So
def-
I heard. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I
is
was
it?
going to
Oh,
say.
but- Hey.
It's
didn't
not
have
your.
we didn't
It's
have
not
a
Spotify
red-
messing up, everybody. We just don't know how to speak in our own exact specific times. We want to speak together.
That's why we're talking about communications
Exactly.
here, guys.
Yeah,
Come
we're
on.
gonna start raising hands
Yeah.
in the room
Yeah.
here in a second.
I can see where the issues are coming from.
We have lots to say, Spencer.
Body language.
Yeah, yeah, with your arms folded over there.
So we should tell our wife to listen to this episode.
Absolutely.
No,
Right?
Yeah.
no.
This would have been the best episode to have a camera on.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So Matt Chandler talks about how he does this with his wife, and I haven't tried it yet because I find it very difficult. But he says he will take whatever his wife tells him, and he'll say, "Here's what I heard you say,
Yeah.
and here is how I took that. Is this how you meant it?"
Yep. Which is that same probing plus that active listening.
And usually the response is, "Oh gosh, no." Like, that is not at all what I meant. Now,
Yeah.
maybe there's times where it's like, "You dang right, that's what I meant."
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's usually how he'll take those, and it just de-escalates the situation immediately. So it's on the books to try.
My wife is really good about that, but then during that conversation, I'm already like getting up there.
You already,
Yeah, my temperature's rising, but as soon as she says that, I can kind of feel like, oh, okay, now I understand. Okay, there's miscommunication, or maybe I'm the one with the problem of understanding what she's trying to say. Mm-hmm. So it does help. So that's a really good way to de-escalate, but it is a hard skill to learn because you have to, I want to say master it, but you got to be able to just get to that moment, just made it like part of your communication style.
yep.
Yeah. Katie and I, for the longest time, we struggled with like the true like verbal like conflict feedback. So I had to get really good at quote unquote hearing the body language that would signal we needed to have that, or we were going to hit a tipping point. So I think that's one of the things too that I think is important, is that 55% is not ever said. It's just how they may be carrying themselves, and we have to learn how to be in tune with that just as much as what they're saying. And that was hard for me too, because it was like, I see that you're acting that way, and I hear that deep breath and sigh, but I'm not going to react to it. It's like a T-Rex exercise triggered by movement. I'm not going to move.
Did you just call your wife a T-Rex?
You haven't seen her angry. You haven't seen her angry.
Very, very still. Don't move.
But we've touched on something. So here, when you guys think of communication, especially in the context of a marriage, what's the most important part? We've already kind of touched on it a little bit, but
Listening.
yeah, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
How, like, otherwise we kind of screw it all up. And I was kind of prepping for this, and I found this awesome quote from Dietrich Bonhoeffer in his book Life Together, and it says, "The first service one owes to others in the fellowship consists in listening to them. Just as love to God begins with listening to His word, so the beginning of love for others is learning to listen to them." So here's a question: when you guys think of the context of your
Yeah, because
marriages,
these ones have been so great so far.
Throw us another question.
what gets in the way of effective listening for you guys when it comes to your marriages?
My own thoughts.
And the fixer, you just want to immediately respond.
What I want to say next.
Yeah.
Yeah. So listening to respond versus listening to understand. It sounds like your questionings are. What else?
Pride, like, I want to get my point across, not listening to her
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
Just my mind and whatever it might be floating off to at the moment.
ADD sometimes.
Completely on it.
Yeah.
Oh, I can remember even in the last week where I'm like, and I walk away. I'm like, what was I supposed to do?
Yeah. I've gotten the. What did
Crap,
I just
what was
say?
I supposed to do?
I've gotten the. What did I just say to you?
Oh,
I'm
no.
like, you
Your answers
you said
your answers work until a certain point when they don't work.
Yeah.
And it's
That's when you
obvious.
say, "Hey Alexa, repeat what you just said."
or what's worse is when, like, I'm looking at my phone and then I don't respond. And she's like, "What did I just say?" And I repeat it back verbatim, but I didn't respond. It's even worse. I'm a book. Yeah.
Okay,
I know.
learn from that.
Yeah.
Have you guys have a conversation in your head while having a conversation with your wife?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I have to tell myself, okay, she's talking. She just wants to talk. Don't fix it. Don't just shut up.
That's
and
what I said was
listen.
my number one reason that gets in the way of my effective listening.
Yeah.
My own thoughts.
Yeah. But that solution orientation that, you hear a lot, this kind of stereotypical of guys, the ego that can drive that. Sometimes my sense is what gets in the way is my sense of being right versus getting it right.
Yeah.
I've got to win on this one. This is the one I'm standing on business.
Processing that response.
That's
What
when
about-
that's when I tell myself, like, I talk to myself, like, shut up. And
Yeah.
What about timing? And I'll explain this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Spencer's watching a Tennessee football game.
Oh yeah. And you want to have that conversation when we're
Could you
down
turn
14?
that off, please?
Yeah. No, I cannot. Here's a link to my calendar. Yeah, I'm kidding.
JK.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, but I
I mean,
mean,
be like, because we don't do digital calendars. We just have one, like a big sheet of paper that's on the front of her computer.
Yeah.
I'd have to walk over there and write it down.
see, I'm the one
Time
that's
to
bad
talk.
at that. I'm the one that wants to have the deep conversation right when we lay down to go to bed, and I'm like, so, like, what do you think our financial goals should be? It's like we're falling asleep on a Wednesday or something.
You do
She
that?
loves sleep.
I'm prone to that, yeah, because it'll just pop into my head, and I'll be like sitting there and ready to talk, and she's like, "No, we're not." And I was like,
That's
how my
usually
wife
when we actually. Do
I've
our
been doing
conversations.
similar. I've been doing the same thing, but she's got this list of stuff that she has to get done in a week with teaching and parenting and all the things, and she's like, "I can't do it right now."
"Yeah,
I was like, "Well, that's coming up in 3 days. We need to talk about it."
this is the only unadulterated time we get is right here in this 5 minutes before we fall asleep."
Yeah.
So, what is some of the things that, I mean, you guys have all had long marriages, and I imagine that's not without some growth in your listening muscle. What have you done to strengthen that muscle?
Counseling.
Yeah. I mean, personal trainer of listening right there.
But I mean, for real, it's like making sure that I am actually asking questions about what's going on too. Mm-hmm. So some of it is my own prompting
Yeah.
to be like, hey, like, how was your day? What was frustrating? But I think even on the flip side of that, where we're waiting for them to tell us something, I actually think sometimes, at least this is for my wife, she struggles with vulnerability, and so that's why for me the probing is helpful, because sometimes I gotta extract out But I also think it starts with showing affection and appreciation before that.
Yeah.
Yeah, break that wall down.
Make it safe
Yeah,
to do it.
and it's reminding myself to do that for the mundane things. Like
Yeah.
tonight, before I left to go to students, I got home, was home for 45 minutes. Hey, I just want to say thank you for making dinner. I know you had the 3 kids. Thank you for making dinner. Today's my birthday. Hey, thank you.
Oh, happy birthday.
Thank you for making me a cake. I appreciate you doing that.
Yeah.
Now I got to go.
Acknowledge. Yeah.
But at least like I could have told her just like, hey, see you later. Thanks. Bye.
Yeah.
But taking the time to do that, and I'm still bad at those things. It's like, hey, thanks for doing the kids' laundry this week, and like just making sure she knows and sees and hears that I see that she's appreciated.
Yeah.
I think for me is that I think you had I think when Proverbs talk about the love,
Yeah.
that's what I have. The tongue, the power of the tongue. John, if you're listening, thanks to you. I've had one conversation with John, and he always reminds me that what does the scripture talk about? Do everything in love, right? Mm-hmm. That 2 words, in love, is what is tattooed on my forehead.
Yeah.
And every time I talk to my wife or my kids, it would just comes to my
That's the goal.
It's
Yeah.
like, hey, am I doing it? Did I say it in love? Did I do my action in love? And that's what helps me to not go crazy on my kids.
Yeah.
And it really helps because I haven't. I mean, like it saves that relationship for me.
Mm-hmm.
Let the record show that Mike doesn't have a tattoo on his forehead.
Yeah.
Well, I just thought about getting a tattoo because Ming wanted a tattoo, so I might go with him just to do a father and son tattoo.
That'd be
I think
cool.
what I want to though.
Have you listened to your wife about that yet?
About tattoo?
She has a few.
Yeah, she has them too.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that, and I finally went through, I've done the counseling thing too, Billy, but one of the things that has helped me is what we've already talked about. It's this tool, 2-way communication, that what you said, like what I heard you say is, did I hear that right? Or you can tell yourself, hey, the story I'm telling myself right now is that you believe this about me. Is that true or false? As just a way to validate and check in on those things. It's crazy how many like husbands I've talked to that have never heard of that, but maybe it's because I grew up in like heavily regulated industries where that's just like a standard communication tool. And I teach it, but so if you're out there listening, that might be a freebie to take, is just that what I heard you say is,
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm okay to go spend this $2,000 on fishing equipment. Is that accurate?
That's not what you said.
Anything else that comes up that you guys can think of around like, hey, here's something that's really helped me
Yep.
as far as growing that listening muscle?
I go super practical with it.
Yeah.
Put my phone down and turn and face her.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I need
And-
to do the turn and face, but I would say the phone down is
It
very
works
important.
wonders. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't even know if she cares what she's saying after that point, but it's just like it throws her for a loop when I do that. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, I'm focused on you for now. As easy as that is. And I ask God while I'm getting distracted. Shut up. Tell me to shut up. Focus.
That's a good point, Cody, because everybody has a phone. Have you ever go to a restaurant and look at a family and they're all sitting there waiting for their food and what they're doing?
Yeah.
Everybody's on their phone.
Yeah.
I mean, me too, my family too, but it's very true. Like if you set your phone down, or not just your phone, but whatever you're trying to do, like give the other person the attention.
Yeah.
I think it really helps with
Undivided
communication.
attention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Undivided
Do
attention.
no phone dinners.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of research to that actually around it. When you're communicating with somebody, connection starts with the eyes. So a lot of people call it eye contact, but in like the professional speaking world, they'll call it eye communication or eye connection with your audience, because it's way harder to disconnect when somebody's looking at you. I think that's really.
It's a tenet of second mile service at Chick-fil-A.
Oh.
But you have to create eye contact.
Ooh, interesting.
You can't just wait for it. Hey.
Yeah. It's actually part of the attachment theory too.
Oh,
So it sells chicken too.
Yeah.
And so it's a big part of eye contact is a big thing, which is
If I
really
feel safe and if
which
I-
is really fascinating because the numbers God talks a lot about. He talks about one of the ways that he's going to show his blessings by turning his face toward you. And so it ties into a lot of that. And there's a quote, and I'm probably going to butcher this, but it's
Do it.
We all come into the world looking for someone to look for us.
Yeah.
All about the eyes.
Yeah.
Man, that's a really good one.
It's
Thanks,
about the
Cody.
Attention.
Yeah, I think that's a really important one, especially when everything is competing for our eyes these days, for sure.
And I don't know when I started doing this, but it may have been when I changed jobs or prior to that. But I'm trying to do better at just listening. Like I had to do it just now. I wanted to stop you guys and say this, but I just had to listen.
Nice.
And doing that for any conversation, whether it be my wife or coworkers or clients, it's just I need to listen more before reacting.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think that's a perfect segue. This idea of listening before reacting is that I think that's one of the things that it's okay. You have my attention. I'm listening. And that's important. But then it's what do we do after we listen? You know, because there's a couple of things. We can have a productive response to it, or you could have this unhealthy response to it. And we'll focus first on these unhealthy, these reactive, because I think it's rooted in Ephesians 4:26, where it says, "In your anger, do not sin." And I think there's two important distinctions there. In your anger, meaning that's a state you can be in, and then do not sin, which means there's a choice. You can go somewhere. Anger will always come up. We talked about that in trials. You're always going to have those situations, but it's how do we respond in that? And I think that's where anger itself isn't wrong, but it's this unbridled, unrestricted anger that we talked about where we get ourselves in trouble, especially in communication, and the tongue has that power of life and death like we heard in Proverbs. And I think that's kind of the enemy's goal. It's division. It's to divide us, and the tongue is the easiest way because it's not the more egregious act that you can see that can end a marriage, but it's the death by 1,000 cuts. It's what you didn't say or what you did say to me. So I'm curious if you guys, and maybe we've kind of already talked about this. We talked a little bit about what are the emotions that are tough for you, but what are those things that are triggering for you in communication in your marriage that would cause me to lose my poise?
There's
or
two
the Hulk
words.
to come out.
There's two words.
What words?
Always and never.
Ooh. So absolutes are triggers for you.
Yeah.
You always or you never.
Because I definitely
Ooh.
don't always. I don't either. For sure.
Man. All right. Those are good.
Cody's
Yeah.
bringing good stuff.
Yeah.
For me, it's when I have to repeat myself
Ooh.
Yeah.
because I just felt like I'm not gonna be responsible for anything breaking in your room tonight. But for me, when I have to repeat myself, it's almost like they're not giving me the attention
Yeah.
and that respect.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah, I know there's been a lot of prayer around that theme
Yeah.
of like respect too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially my son.
I have always had this like issue with authority, and so for a long time Katie would say something really harmless and she would never intend it to be, but she's like, I may have you do this. I was like, you're not going to have me do anything. I was like, hey, I may have you grab that from him. I was like, oh, you'll have me do that? I was like, how about you ask me? And it's just this, I don't know. I think it goes back to some trauma with my stepdad, but I remember the first couple of times she said it to me and I was just like, no, you can get up. And I said something really like
What I heard you say was,
yeah. The sarcasm came out in me. I was just like, okay, tell you what's not going to happen now is what you just asked me
Yeah.
to do. That is just one of, I don't know why. I'm way better with it now, but early on, we're in that like dating phase. The first couple of times, it just was like nails
she-
on a chalkboard.
I think
Did she think that was cute?
No. So it got to the point where she'd say it, and I'd be like, you what? And she'd be like, will you please go?
good
We
communication.
don't want that dinosaur to come
so
out.
I had to hear y'all's triggers to realize what mine are. And for me, it's the long-winded, like coming at me, long-winded.
Oh, okay. Like
And
a
then-
dump truck.
Yeah.
It's just thing.
And then
thing.
it's the big
Okay.
words.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I have a response for that. Wait, I got to remember that. And then I have a response for that. I got to remember that. So then I have to gather myself and come back and be like, I love you. Like, I don't know. Like, sometimes I just don't know how to respond.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and she's really quick. Like, she comes from a father who's a lawyer who, like, big cases. And it's like I can't respond like a lawyer.
There's art.
I need
it is
time.
a skill. Yeah, absolutely.
Your response should be, Your Honor, can we have recess?
I'd like to request a 5-minute
Yeah,
recess.
you should get a little gavel and like
Yeah.
recess.
We need to get Cole a gavel.
Mine are coming to me to say something without like, if you're gonna mention it or say something to me about like either something I did wrong or even just anything. Honestly, it's without context, or there's no actual historical like evidence. I'm like, okay, well, where'd that come from? I don't know. I'm like, so why did you say it?
Yeah.
It gets so frustrating. The other thing is I have a really big challenge with like follow through of when we have those conversations. My frustration to come in the conversation, it comes from the action not happening after the conversations.
Yeah.
And then how do I go address that or have that conversation about the action from the conversation? And I'm like, oh, how do I do this?
Yeah. Yeah. Whew. All of these are like, I could probably relate to each one of them. So when those happen, like in the past, or maybe there's still a struggle for you today, what has typically been your response? I am the withdrawal guy. So if something like starts to boil up and it's been enough, like my unhealthy response has been to like walk away because I don't want that like hairpin Hulk trigger to be fired and I say something I regret. So I'll just like, I gotta go do yard work. And I just like walk out. What about you guys? Or the flip side of that is just like, it's going to come out and I say something and then you got to go back and apologize 5 minutes later. Or is there something else for you guys?
I'm kind of like you. I shut down.
Yeah.
And then I would just be quiet. But then in my quiet time, I would try to reflect back what was going on.
Yeah.
And then try to figure out how to go back and either apologize or how to dig myself out of it.
Yeah.
It's hard.
It is.
I'm big on patterns and trends. So like, is this something that's happening as a repeated pattern in a short amount of time? If that's happening, there's something else going on inside. And so then trying to figure out what's actually causing that. So then I'll usually stop and be like, all right, is this like a one-off situation? She just have a bad day and she's having
Yeah.
the reactiveness come out. Those I usually let go. And like, because in any day, we could all pick at anything from our wife. It'd be really easy to pick at something
Yeah.
that we don't like at some point, and they could probably do that 8 times more for us.
Yeah.
And so trying to understand, is this an actual pattern of behavior that's happening? And if it is, then there must be something else that's going on. And this wasn't just, a bad moment that happened.
Yeah.
I think I addressed it just with, earlier. I unhealthy response was me just responding too fast.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, just quickly apologizing.
Yeah. So there's that muscle of, and I think there's a balance between withdrawing. There's a healthy balance of withdrawing, so because you're going to say something that you might regret, versus withdrawing with the intent of just never addressing it and burying it under the rug, and then it just becomes a wound that gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
Bitterness.
That's a dangerous one.
Yeah.
But there's a good way to do that though. It's like when you're getting into the heated, when the heat started,
Yeah.
you'll be like, hey, I just need to take a few minutes.
Yeah.
I need to take a walk.
Oh, yeah.
I need to take
Yeah.
a break.
And a lot of that also helps because it helps you a response and it helps her think about what she just said too.
Yeah.
And sometimes you'll meet in the middle.
Yeah.
As long as you can agree to come back to the conversation.
Yeah, that's what I was
Yeah.
going to say. Is
Yeah.
Don't just leave it. Hey, I need to go take a walk.
Yeah.
But
Bury
say,
the
hey,
hatchet.
I need to go out, take a breather, and give me 10 minutes,
Yeah.
and I'll come back
Yeah.
to
Yeah,
this.
because I've seen guys that do that. They're like, all right, I just got to leave. And then they come back. They're okay, but the conversation never got had.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
That was my growing up.
I told you guys about my letter fiasco.
What?
The letter I wrote
yeah.
to Katie, remember? I think I talked about it on another episode, but
You mentioned it.
in my infinite wisdom, the best way I tried to respond to something that was bugging me was I wrote a letter, expressed everything that was bugging me, put it in her bag at work, and hopped on a flight and went to Tennessee for 3 days.
Yeah, don't do that,
did.
listener. Do not.
It did not go well.
Yeah, that's a no.
Do not
That was
repeat.
after marriage.
No, this was 2019.
you're still
We'd been
dating?
together. We'd been together like 3 years, so we were at that like we're about to make the big decision of like which way we're gonna go.
Dang, and she still chose you.
I know. But when I landed and took my phone off airplane mode, those were some tough texts. That was a very stressful weekend for me, not knowing what I was coming back home to.
Yeah, or not coming.
Yeah,
Did she text you the word K or the letter K?
quite a few, like KILL. But when you want to talk about a true withdrawal, I left the state, guys. So
Yeah.
It's like slip it in.
strategy
I'm
right
out.
it seemed really smart because that way it could just give her time to reflect instead of react and us blow up. But hey,
Living there.
hindsight being 2020.
Have
Living
you
there.
have you ever gone back to that letter and kind of dissect what you wrote and what you should have put in there?
No, you know what's funny is I actually like consulted a mentor of mine who is a woman who was like, I think that's really well written. Yeah, I know.
She's fired.
But there's no
Real
body
bummer.
language or voice or tone.
See,
Yeah, there you go.
Just
See?
words.
Nothing to get in the way.
Only
Just
7% of the communication was given.
Pure message.
Clearly,
Go well. Yeah. All right. So there are clearly plenty of ways we should not respond. And then there's one incredible model of how we should always respond, which is Jesus. And I think there's this really awesome example in the Bible, which is the woman at the well, the adulteress at the well, right? So when you all think about how Jesus responded to her, what are some of the things that come up? You all know that story, right?
for our listeners who may not.
Yeah. You want to go ahead? I know you've probably got you can do a quick synopsis.
Oh gosh, you're putting me on the spot for that one. So that one
You
is
put
the one.
yourself on the spot. Just saying.
I did put myself on the spot. I should probably go look it up to make sure I don't mess it up. But yeah, so he meets a woman at the well. Is this the one where he's called? Is the one you're thinking about where he's like, hey, you're with the man right now that's not your husband, and you had 4 before this. Okay, cool. Not the one where she was about to get stoned.
Yeah.
Okay, 2 separate stories. Just see, there's communication demonstrated.
It is.
Is the one the one you
Yes.
intended?
Yes.
Yeah. So Jesus
Clarity
leads him-
creates confidence.
He actually sends his disciples back into the city, and he goes to meet this woman at the well. It's in the afternoon, which is actually a big deal because she would have been despised across all of her society because of her behavior. And so he meets her at the well. And he does, I believe he does actually look her in the eyes, which is cool. And he just sees her for who she is. And he gets to see her in all her worth, and she gets to feel that, and he gets to have that conversation with her and say, hey, look, I know all the stuff that's going on, but guess what? I still love you. Yeah,
exactly. So I think in both these examples where he's encountered women at well, what you see is that the first thing he does is he honors their dignity first. He doesn't jump into fix-it mode. There's the transformation. His form of fix is to completely transform your soul a little bit higher than we will.
Although he does say, go and sin no more afterwards.
After he honors their dignity.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's the question for us is what's our first reaction? Is it when you're in conflict or you're in that, is it let me honor your dignity first or is it let me fix this? And sometimes my version
Shut up, Spencer.
Sometimes my version of fix it is let me fix this for you by pointing out your flaw in logic.
Let me figure out what you just communicated to me is also wrong.
Yeah.
Can you explain honor her dignity?
I think like you've already talked about it. Some of the things that you've said, which is what I hear you saying is like, hey, what I hear like is really bugging you. Like one of the things that you talked earlier about the example where it's like all of it's coming at you so fast. I've seen this exercise called the 60-second rant where you just let somebody, and I've seen it with couples, but I've also seen it in professional settings where somebody will just like jokingly talk to you about something that just really makes them mad. So I could go on for 60 seconds about traffic in Dallas. But what you're really listening to is the root of what is the frustration. Traffic is just the example. What's really valued under there that's causing the frustration is I value my time. And so that's kind of like I honor your dignity by here. Like what's the core of what's important to you underneath this frustration and conflict? Is it that I haven't heard you or I'm sure Cody's done a lot of this and heard a lot of this in coaching, is like you're listening for what is like that really the person behind it. And I think that's kind of what comes up for me, unless any of you guys have these other ideas on what it means to honor dignity. But
I like it.
No, I think honor and dignity, to me, when I heard it, you were asking, what came to my mind was to make sure that the other person, that you're affirming that you heard, right? Like what they're saying. You're not just not looking at them with the eye. Well, I mean, you can look at somebody in the eyes and not pay attention.
yeah,
But it's like when you can understand what they're saying and you say, from what I heard you said, that really shows that you are paying attention.
yeah,
Right? You're giving them the time
yeah,
and not just thinking about what you heard, but you actually know what they're saying.
Yeah. So in counseling, it's called summarization. So you actually
Yeah.
take everything and then you just say back to them,
Mm-hmm.
hey, you said this and 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 this. And this is, at the root, this is what I think is that correct?
yeah,
And then it's validation back to them. Wow, that's really difficult. And then you nod and
Yeah.
say, and let them keep talking. But yeah, you summarize back what they said to you, then clarify, and then give validation back from them.
yeah. Love it. Lots of good gems. So let's start to bring this episode home by just kind of wrapping up with chatting through like what does healthy conflict resolution look like. We talked a little bit about this one already, but just some of the unhealthy or unproductive ways we tried to handle conflict in marriage. Mine was writing a very ill-timed letter, and a couple of other things, but or the idea of withdrawing or just that reacting. What are some other things that you guys can think of ways you've tried to or handle conflict in unhealthy ways, or you've seen other men do?
Ignore it.
Trying to fix her.
Straight to make up sex.
Yeah, just straight to the physical without
Yeah.
anything to build up to it.
Yeah.
I've seen like modeling, like I'm going to do the behavior I want her to do. Like I'm going to go like for a run in front of you, hoping you're
condescending.
going to. Yeah, exactly.
Or like,
I'm going to.
I'm going to tear through this house and clean it up top to bottom.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Not even going to ask for your help, but yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. The nonverbal condescension that comes with that is pretty impressive. Yeah.
Tit for tat.
So Paul David Tripp in his book, What Did You Expect? Says, conflict doesn't create problems. It exposes the heart that's already there. But God uses those moments to help us grow in grace. And I have this reflective question of just when conflict arises, do I aim to win or understand? And so I'm just curious about what has been some of the more productive ways you all have identified and how you handle conflict. I'll share one while you guys think, is that in our premarital counseling, our pastor talked about something called the Switzerland moment. And it's this idea that you both agree that you will, if one of you calls for a Switzerland moment, there has to be a place in the house. And his was in his back porch. And it's where it was a judgment-free zone. And you went out there and you both agreed, like, in this moment, I will not hold judgment over you and you won't hold judgment over me. And I'm going to like reveal something. It's Switzerland. It's free. It's
Neutral.
yeah, it's a neutral territory. and
Interesting.
and so we've tried to do that a couple of times where it's just like, hey, Switzerland moment. And it's like, okay. And it's like kind of what you're saying. This comes from a place of love. Like there's no judgment in this, but what is this? What's going on here with this? So that's been a pretty interesting one that I heard of that we've tried to emulate.
I bet it gets you outside of yourself pretty quickly,
Usually, yeah.
potentially.
I can't think of anything that we've like specifically tried. I think it's more of just a commitment to being vulnerable.
Yeah.
I'm naturally more that direction.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, it's one, still continuing to do that if it's not reciprocated in the way that I want it to be,
Yeah.
but then also being patient in that moment to also be aware of when she's trying to be vulnerable
Yeah.
and recognizing that. I would say the other thing for me, as I think about conflict in any relationship that you have, whenever conflict arises, you can either run and ignore that relationship. You basically have two decisions. You end that relationship or you work through that conflict with that relationship. When you have that conflict and you work through it, it creates a level of intimacy.
Yeah.
And so reframing conflict as an opportunity to deepen my relationship with my wife is something that's helped me tremendously. It's not just an argument of trying to win it.
Yeah.
But it's, hey, this is a conflict that's arisen. This is an opportunity for us to develop a more intimate understanding of each other.
Yeah.
That mindset change can help. For me, I go back to Genesis, where it talks about, a man will leave the family and cleave. And, that whole woman and man cleave, and two shall become one.
Yeah.
For me, it's like, we're one. Why are we trying to hurt ourselves?
Yeah.
And that puts me in a position to say, hey, I don't want to get into this winning the argument for the sake of winning.
Yeah. Because I don't really win.
Yeah, I don't win. And, and then I don't get sex.
I mean, there are downstream effects.
Another good tactic that I've heard, and we've never tried it, but it basically you sit on opposite ends of the table and you pick it's some sort of kitchen utensil, like a spatula or a spoon or whatever, and you are only allowed to speak when you have the utensil.
Yeah.
You can't say anything, so you just have to let them say it, and it forces you not to speak back and just take in what's
just
going
listen.
on.
Yeah.
Things that help you get further down the road of dialogue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rather than point.
Which you
back.
learn stuff about people that you've been with the same person for 23 years, and you're like, I never knew that about you. That's intimacy. Like you're getting further down into knowing them.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I have found out stuff through not necessarily conflicts between me and Katie, but conflicts that Katie is working through. The stuff that I never knew about stuff that she's gone through and all kinds of stuff. And so being able to just recognize those and not blow through them.
Yeah. I think, Mike, you touched on one that I've heard. There's probably two that I've heard people reference. One is the pause, pray, proceed, which is like, it's time to pause. And I need to just go pray through this and then come back to this when I am in a less emotionally charged. And I think connected to that, the way that a good friend of mine told me that he and his wife did it was they called halt. And halt meant I'm hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. And I'm not in a position to have this conversation right now. So they just say, hey, halt. And that was their pause, but then they agreed to come back, and then you can move into pray or proceed. And I was like, well, that's pretty interesting, because those are probably four of the most common times when I do not respond the way that I should. So
Legit reasons, yeah.
But make sure you're not praying for God to change them.
Yeah, that's true. Pray for wisdom.
Because that intention, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Anything else you guys feel like that we would be failing if we didn't mention about healthy conflict resolution that you've heard of or experienced in your own marriages?
I don't think so.
Not that we haven't talked about.
Well, then, listeners, if you listen to this episode, you can probably go solve any communication problem.
My pleasure.
Probably not. My pleasure.
It.
But I do think there's been some good, lots of good nuggets and little tools that I think you all have used. So I guess I'll ask you all if you could boil it down to one tip, trick, mindset shift thing that you would say to any listener that's been effective for you, knowing every marriage is different. But 6 perspectives or 5 perspectives sitting around this table, what would be that one thing?
Can I have 2?
You can have 2. You can have 1A and 1B.
Okay, Billy, go first.
One is typically the initial thing that comes out as a symptom of something deeper. Mm-hmm. Second one is more of a question, which would be, do you know what to pray for your wife?
Love it.
I was going to go based off the Bible verse, quick to listen, slow to speak.
Yeah.
Just listen.
So the one thing that I think it was Gary Chapman's Sacred Marriage that I remember was that remember that your wife is also God's daughter.
Yeah.
How do you treat God's daughter?
Yeah. Because that'll change your heart posture walking into the conversation to begin with.
Well, it changes me every day, because I wake up and I look at my wife like, hey, that's God's daughter.
Yeah.
How am I honoring God if I'm not treating his daughter well?
Yeah. I think mine has been that the listening with questions. I think that came. I didn't really start doing that really well until I went and got my coaching certification to understand like the power of a question to get to the root of something, and listening for what's really being said. Because, like you said, it's often a symptom. So that's probably the biggest one for me. Has been that active listening. Any others come up?
Yeah, I mean, for me, growing up, it was avoid saying something because it's going to come off wrong or be a problem, but figure out a way through counseling or whatever to be able to use your voice to speak up for your needs.
Yeah.
A lot of people let their needs be known all the time, but to those of you that are holding stuff in, like it belongs in the relationship.
Yeah.
So
I love it. I love that idea. It belongs in the relationship because I think it has to be there. Because again, it goes back to the root of conversation is con with. It's got to be a two-way dialogue. So I'll just close this up by saying, we've talked about this before, but I love this idea that comes from the book Fierce Conversations, that the equation, the conversation equals the relationship. Whatever you put into your conversations or do not put, it's exactly what's going to be in your relationships because they're the building blocks, the Legos of them. So lots of great things here. Hope, listener, you've got one or two things that maybe you can think of, or if it's just trying to practice that more active listening in your next conversation. If you just don't love where communication is in your marriage, we hope that there's been some good nuggets here. And we look forward to the next episode. Tune in for episode 3, where we're going to be talking about a new definition of intimacy. Until then, have a good one. Thank you all.
Later.